I am so close to getting the 4-engine Italian attacker, the P108 Alpha Series 2, and I'm super stoked. So I'm going to try to play some Italian Air Forces in the hopes of getting the last 8,000 experience that I need. This thing is a 4-engine bomber with no bombs. Instead, it has a 102mm anti-shipping gun. Excuse me. And 102mm cannon with 50 rounds of ammunition. And I'm hoping that I can fly this thing in simulation and go one-shot or even two-shot pillboxes and just farm points. It's got a really interesting gunner configuration, rear-facing gunners on the tops of the outboard engine nacelles, as well as a this gun turret here actually pops. I didn't know this until I test flew it. It goes down and then can fire straight backwards. And then 2 more waist gunners. And then look at this thing, 102mm. That's a big gun. And a bunch of rounds for it. So I'm gonna give some air sim a shot in the Italian tree. Let's see. Turn that off. And simulate battles. Of course, there's no room up in any of the games for me. It's alright. Like, this one might open up if one more person joins Russia, or if one person leaves the Axis side. It might be able to go into here. I'll give it 30 seconds. While I pull up my stream. If it opens up, great. If not, I'll just have to play something different. Alright. Didn't open up. That's okay. Man makes plans and fate laughs. I will try out my tier 5. Yep, there we go, tier 5. Allied cruise again. Again, pretty new to these planes, pretty new to this tier. I've got very little idea of what I'm doing. And I typically don't do very well. I think I got my first couple of AI kills in the air. Last time I played, I was able to take out a bomber objective. Right, let's go airfield 3. Let's bring in the P-51, and let's go. 1,000-pounders heavy. Now leave these combat flaps down until I'm well clear of those obstacles. We'll head down to that factory. Alright, to the southeast. Alright, let's get these flaps cleaned up. Double check gear up. Alright. Real sluggish in the controls. Set cruise point power. Now the only reliable points that I can really get while I'm still trying to figure this thing out is dropping that ground ordnance, so that is that is why I've got them. I'm trying to get a little bit of fishing done on Celtic Heroes. So if you see me looking down, I'm probably just playing that game on my phone from time to time. Hoping we don't encounter any enemy airfields on the way. Because there's 2 more left undiscovered. Let's get another fishing spot here on Celtic Heroes. My buddy Findlin is racing me for fishing experience now. We're kind of in a competition. He's trying to pass me in fishing level, so I've got to take it a lot more seriously now. Been kind of letting it fall to the wayside. It's a real good game to play on top of WarThunder Sim mode. Kind of helps fill the gaps of time when you're, climbing or returning to the base and things like that. Please excuse me again if you hear me sniffling. I'm still getting better from being sick last week and doing a lot better than I was, but trying to make sure I catch the microphone from muting. And I might not always have the presence of mind to keep the mic. Alright, we're coming up on the factory objective now. Just went really low level, kind of napped at the earth. Try to sneak our way in here. So we can at least get some ordnance on the base. I think that's probably the factory right there. right there. Ow. Come on, evade, evade, evade. Yeah, we discovered that airfield right as we popped up to drop our bombs. And we got somebody on our 6 now. Looks like we might have shook them for now. We've got a chance to reset and reverse. Alright. Well, eye for an eye there. Bail out. Alright. We've actually got enough to bring in our P-47. Which I'd like to do, even maybe the PBJ, but... I'm gonna bring in this P-47, just because... I haven't spaded it out just yet. No, what are we gonna do? Yeah, we'll bring it in. That's the one that needs spading. Thought I got some hits on that guy that went head-on with me. Kind of like the DO-335. Right there. I think that's that DO-335. German attacker type aircraft. Got like 30mm cannons on it. Looks like we've discovered all 3 enemy airfields now. Is that what that is? That's what it looks like to me. And it is. That's definitely what that is. Alright, we're turning a little bit of right rudder, trying to keep that nose from stalling. I'm going to go ahead and drop that 500-pound bomb so we can just get a little bit more pull here. Oh, come on. Alright. Let's bring in combat flaps. Keep the stall from developing. too worried about losing energy on this. I just need to be able to turn with them. Here we go. We're turning now. We're not stalling. We're looking good. There we go. Hey, here you go, buddy. Come on. Alright, wing stall, wing stall. Okay. Recover, recover, recover. He's going real low and slow. We do have hits on him, so hopefully we can grab an assist if he does get taken out. So keep him in sight, keep this low energy turn going. Got my combat flaps deployed still. I think we can close this. I just need to not rush this shot. Here we go, here we go. Online. I don't think we're going to get it on this pass. Alright, let's pull the flaps in. Let's turn left. Pick up some extra speed. Let's pick him up on this head-on turn. He's in such a low energy state now. This is not the kind of aircraft I should be going head-on with, though. Hopefully he chooses to target the other guy over me. Got him. Damage to his oil tank. Alright, let's drop these combat flaps one more time. Let's finish this thing off. Hits. Yeah, he's on my ally there. This thing's kind of beefy. Come on. Yeah, he's going down in the trees now. Grab the assist. No assist? I don't think he's dead. I think he needs rockets. Hold on. Alright, so he's just on the top side of that tree line right there. Let's bring it in. And he just disappeared. Alright, I mean, that's about as horseshit as it gets, I guess. Let me see here. Battle. I mean, we critted him. It's not even in here. I don't even know. That probably would have been my first player tier 4 kill. And it looks like we got robbed. We dumped our bomb for that and everything. Oh well, such is life. You win some, you lose some. Looks like we got a little bit of dogfight going on over there. We're gonna call some attention to it.
Attention to the map.
Now that's got the looks of a German climber right there, so I'm gonna keep my eye on him and try to gauge what else is going on. Bergman. That's a name I haven't heard in a long time. Let's see, who is this guy right here? That looks allied, that looks, yep, that's a spit. Alright. I need to find another target. Here we go. Low level. Oh. Okay. Right there. Bergman LOL. I feel like I was in the Air Force with you a long time ago. I think it was tech school. Was that an FW-190 right there? No, it's kind of like a Bearcat. That's a Jug. It's a P-47. I have not heard from you in a long time. I didn't know you were on my Twitch. And I might also be assuming the wrong person here, so correct me if I'm wrong. Who is this? What are you? Looks like a P-61 or something. Nope, that's DO-17. Got him. Right. And that's why aircraft identification helps. That'll be our first Tier 4 kill. But not in a Tier 4 aircraft. We're actually in a 4.7 right now. Tier 4 starts at 5.0. Here we go, 3 o'clock. Over there by the river. One low, one high. Too high. Lost low in the trees. He might have went down. I see smoke coming up now. Oh. Got 8 o'clock off in the distance there. We got 2 targets here. Got my altitude. We got one 9 o'clock here. Who's that? What are you doing? Go ahead and report in. Let the team know what's up. We got a parachute coming down. Missing 2 aircraft at my 12. Where'd you guys go? Yeah. What the hell was that? He went down in the trees and flipped over and no kill. No death on his end. I put rounds into that target. I got no assist or no nothing. It was like he just landed upside down on the ground somehow, didn't die, and then was able to just exit the game. It was a strange set of circumstances there. Alright, got a little bit of a dogfight going on over here, it looks like. We might be able to contribute something. I got 2 people chasing each other. One of those has got to be an enemy. Let's check our 6. Oh, Bergman, we met on Naval Action. Okay. You've got the same name as a dude, Airman First Class Bergman. Have you checked out, Naval Action lately? They, like, changed the UI. They changed a bunch of stuff. I've been actually logging in intermittently and just kind of, like, keeping tabs, because I still am really looking forward to that game. Alright, here we go. Here we go. Oh, ow, shit. Alright, he's going high. He's got more emergency power. Let's see if we can bring this nose on him. Here we go. Looks like a couple of hits there. I'm gonna bring the power back down. So we roll in after him. Gotta get his nose up. Gotta get that nose up. There we go. Alright. We're on him now. Let's see if we can get... Oh, that's a Tempest. Shit! Oh, come on, recover. Full right rudder, full right aileron. Get it. I screwed up. Bergman, we met on naval action. My bad. Alright, well, that was that. Let's see. Let's hop back in that P-51. Let's get rid of those bombs. Yeah, they've been doing a lot with naval action. It seems like you're starting to polish it up a little bit. Definitely still have high hopes for that game. But I'm like max level crafting, max level combat experience. There's nothing left to do until the game actually releases, and as far as I know, they're still going to wipe it upon release and completely take away all your gold and ships and materials. So the only thing they're going to let you keep, I think, is your crafting and your combat experience, which should have maxed both of those things out. There's really not a lot of reason for me to play it anymore, other than just keep tabs. You still play all the time? Man, it's dedication. Surely you're maxed out by now. I assume you're max combat and crafting right now. You must just do all the war stuff. Yeah, man. You tried to get Finland back. I was gonna ask. I was gonna mention Finland. I've mentioned him to go and check out naval action a couple of times, but I don't think he's interested until the game actually fully releases. But yeah, we're definitely hot and heavy into WarThunder right now. This has been our passion pretty much since naval action. Actually, I think we went from naval action to WarThunder, and we've got a ton of people that play this now. Oh, my stall was cool. I'm glad you think that my cold hard slam into the earth was cool. It was less than ideal from my point of view. I expect better. It's kind of I was flying in a real low energy state and just pulled too hard on the elevator there and broke my lift. And I probably could have recovered if I'd had another 1,000 or 2 feet, but I was just too low to the ground. Alright, let's see here. Let's see what's going on. We got 2 at our 12. I think I got another one at my 4 o'clock distant over there by the bend in the river. I've got 2 at my 12 are fighting. Looks like maybe a B-24 just got taken. Oh, it's a Lancaster just got taken out by a DO-335. Alright, so that DO-335, that's that German attacker with the cannons. Now, it looks like he sees me. I'm going to call for cover. I'm going to go oblique with him. And bring it back around. Watch the fire. Put a couple of rounds on target. Let's maneuver on him. My aircraft is much more maneuverable than his, but I do not want to get in a head-on situation with that. I'm just going to scare him with a couple of rounds and get him to do something like this. Now we can come up from underneath him. Hopefully, I cannot suck for 5 seconds. Come on. Okay, that's okay. Don't rush it. I did suck for those 5 seconds, but that's okay. We're coming right back around on them. We're getting on a 6 now. I'm going to call for cover one more time. Let our team know what's going on. Just in case I screw this up. Got it. Alright. He's set afire now. He's not going to recover from that. There he goes. His fuselage is burning out. I don't think he's going to get those flames under control. Yeah, his tail's burning out now. And there he goes. He's dead. Alright, let's do some clearing turns real quick. Let's clear to the right. Right side looks clear. Let's clear to the left. Left side looks clear. Let's turn up to the north and head towards the air superiority objective. We're going to keep an eye on our right side. The enemy airfields are off to the east. One of them is actually right over there. Can't see it. Let's see, where is it? Right there it is. And somebody's coming from the airfield right now, climbing right up at me. Alright, so I'm gonna get as much altitude as I can here. He's already firing at me. Oh, no. He's not firing. Those aren't tracers, those are parachutes. He just bailed out. Yeah, all you do is PvP. I imagine that's probably all you have to do. You're probably like, would absolutely mop the floor with Findolin and I if we got back into it. I got back into it the other day and logged in, and I had my Constitution redeemable. And it said I had like a day to redeem it or something like that. And I had just logged in for the first time. And I was like, oh man, you know, I gotta make sure I redeem that. But I thought that it was like 24 hours worth of playtime. I didn't realize that it was 24 hours from like the moment you logged in. So I logged in, I checked out the UI, clicked around the harbor a little bit, you know, just kind of tried to refamiliarize myself with the game. Didn't redeem the Constitution. And I logged out, and then I came back like 2 days later and the Constitution was gone. And I asked people in the chat, and they basically said that I'm SOL, that I lost my Constitution essentially. And I'm not going to get it back. So that was a bummer. But I did buy a basic cutter and I took it out and did a mission, and man, the combat's still just as fun as ever. That stuff is, that game is just very, very beautifully done. I cannot wait till they actually do the full release for it. It's going to be very, very cool. Anyone who's not familiar with naval action, if you're watching WarThunder Simulation, more than likely, hold on a second, this looks allied, I'm thinking. It is Lancaster. Alright. Anyone who's watching WarThunder Simulation and is interested in stuff like this is more than likely going to enjoy naval action, which is like an Age of Sail simulator. Alright, the Lancaster is firing at a P-38. Don't know why. The F-4U down there is firing at the Lancaster. A lot of friendly fire going on down here, guys. You gotta ID your targets. You can't just shoot everything you see. Half the people you see are on your team. Everybody's shooting at everybody. Alright. Clear to the right. Let's clear left. Alright, we got 2 targets, 11 o'clock distant. Looks like they're getting tangled up over there. Let's call some attention to that right there in the bend in the river. They're on the air superiority objective. Nobody's actually taking the A point. You can see up here the A point's not being filled in. It's still just a white circle. So they are either outside of the capture range or they're neutralizing each other's progress until one of them kills the other. With my presence, we should be able to tip the scales in our favor and actually start capping, even if I don't kill the guy. But I'm gonna hope for a kill. We actually have finally achieved our first air-to-air victory in a Tier 4 match. Granted, it was against a DO335, but I'll take it. We're fighting every single urge not to fly underneath that bridge. And I failed. We're going to use the excuse of going low-level map of the Earth, try to mask our approach as an excuse to do this. Alright, that looks like a DO335 right there with an ally on his 6 o'clock. I'm going to go up and above the ally. Looks like a mosquito chasing a DO335. We're going to come in and do one quick pass on this guy here. Go full war emergency power, flip up, roll left, invert, come down on him, kill power, pull inside, lead turn. Pull up, roll right, pull right. Get him back in sight on the right side. We're going to get him in this climb here. Chop power, cool engine. And there it is. Oh, he bailed out. Okay, scanning for more threats. I'm sorry, the L Ocean, how do you pronounce that ship's name? Because I want to say Lotion. Alright, B-38, ooh, that scared me, man. He was coming in fast. I'm gonna go quick upside down and just check underneath us. Alright, we are right on top of the enemy airfield, so I gotta pull hard to the right and try to keep our distance from that flat because we're right on the edge of their engagement range right there. That's the enemy airfield. Looks like somebody is just moved to the departure, the approach end, and they're rolling down the runway now. So I'm going to go ahead and turn right. I don't want to turn left because I'm gonna get flacked out if I do. I'm gonna turn right, stay in this A point until that circle fills. I'm just gonna try to keep an eye on this departure traffic. Looks like you just got departure in airborne there. The AAA just took out one of my allies. You can see his smoking carcass there at the end of the runway. That's why you don't go over there. Looks like they're firing at another ally. They're tearing him up too. You can see him falling apart. I'm going to turn left to stay in this A point. No joy on enemy traffic approaching. Right, I need to stop fixating. I'm going to get ambushed from another direction. Need to scan. We got 11 o'clock distant. Not a threat for now. We are about to complete the capture for Alpha. Still no joy in any traffic inbound from the airfield. 9 o'clock distant. It's like a bomber formation out there. Clear left, we're going to start clearing right. Still keeping an eye on that airfield right there. There we go, we got somebody rolling midfield now, approaching departure in. So I'm just going to kind of oblique here to the left. Just try to keep him in sight as he climbs up. Chop power just a little bit to make sure the engines stay cool. Kind of lost him in the trees there. I think he might have crashed. He might have crashed on takeoff. Could just be flying real low level against that tree line there. There he goes, alright. He's at the bend in the river there, 11 o'clock low. Fast mover, left to right. Lost him again. Oh, he just pulled up high, that's why. There he goes, right there. Keep an eye on that airfield, I'm getting close to it. He might be baiting me into it. Oh shit, that's an ally. Alright. Let's go ahead and apologize for that. Sorry. We got another aircraft just departed the enemy airfield. You have no idea how to pronounce that ship's name. It's French. Alright, looks like it... Damn! They're just crashing one after the other. More guns than the Victory, but slightly less guns than the Santissima. However, it holds the most crew in the game and has the highest thickness and hit points in the game on top of that. It also has an angled hull, so a lot of shots bounce. The Le Ocean. Man, I remember having my Santissima with max quality boarding parties and like boarding axes, and I would let people get close to me. I'd hit them with full broadsides and get them to try to like come in close, and then like they would try to board me thinking I was a gun layout, and then all of a sudden I've got, can't remember how many crew it had. I feel like it was like 1,100 to 1,200 or something, like 1,200 sailors. And then all of a sudden my Santissima was boarding you, and my guys were armed to the teeth, and I would chop their crews down in like 3 turns. Alright, 11 o'clock distant. Looks like something out there. I'm afraid this game may be a wash at this point. Looks like most of the players have left, and I'm down to just bots that seem unable to depart successfully, which is unfortunate because I feel like I was just starting to get into the swing of it. Yeah, I think this game's done. I'm gonna have to go find another match where the enemies are... Well, TA-152 just took out a Lancaster. Where'd that happen at? Who are you? That's my Lancaster. That's my TA-152. Let's climb and engage. Hits on his right wing. He turned left, I'm turning right. I'm outmaneuvering. I'm gonna go behind him, full lag turn, and then get... You don't want to turn fight with me, I don't think. Pretty sure my aircraft is better suited. Now we're gonna pull lag turn again and just try to slowly come into a deflection shot here. That was a miss. It's okay. Just lag one more time until we get that gun a little bit behind. A little bit behind. Come on, right rudder. There we go. Boom. Alright, let's take that experience home. That's probably... Whoa. Who are you? Who are you? For a second you look like a Lancaster. You kinda still do. I'm not 100% sure. We're just gonna... Let's bomb at something. That's a Lancaster, right? I think so. I'm just not familiar enough with this tier. I don't know if they've got anything that looks like that with two twin or two vertical stabilizers, 4-inch bomber, kind of a boxy shape, very silhouette, looks like a Lancaster. I don't know if the Germans have anything like that. Or yeah, it's a Lancaster. Alright. Let's take this experience home. For real this time. I'm not smooth with the controls on this thing yet. A lot of overcorrections and lack of finesse. I'm starting to figure it out. It's like not many flights in this thing quite yet. I think it's going to be one of my favorite planes once I do figure out what it's, how to fly it better. Turns well. I love the reactive holographic sight. Kind of shows you your convergence. And I think I could probably take this thing knife edge. Yeah. Alright. Let's go find our airfield. Stop dicking around. That's how we lose our experience. If you're not aware, if you're able to land successfully, you can double your experience by a essentially simulating your pilot making a home alive. So when you've actually got some experience from your sortie, it's advisable not to fly like a dick, like I am. But that's a lot less fun. Alright, going on to final approach now. Let's go ahead and chop power because we're going 300 knots, which is about 200 knots too fast. Just there in that clearing is our runway. We're not quite lined up with it. I'm going to hit about 210 knots and we'll get some combat flaps down to help us slow. Got combat flaps deployed. Go ahead and bring in some gear. That extra drag should help us slow down much more. Go ahead and drop another notch of flaps. Oh, okay. Well, we blew off one landing gear on our left side, so this is going to be rough. I'm going to go ahead and shut down the engine to hopefully prevent fire. Wasn't able to retract the other landing gear, so we deployed that landing gear maybe 10-15 knots too fast. Oh, excuse me, just cracking my back. Oh, looks like we're actually going to repair, but we're not going to survive, which is unfortunate, but hey, it is what it is. Yeah, so I'm not familiar with the flap deploying speeds and no gear speeds, V and G. So yeah, I think maybe 160 knots would be our maximum gear speed on this aircraft. We were on final and this landing gear right here ripped off due to excessive wind shear, and once that damaged the gear, I was unable to retract the right one, so we landed with right gear only, and once that hit, the left wing struck the ground pretty hard and caused us to sort of cartwheel down the runway, which was less than ideal as far as landings go. That's the best part about sim, you know, you live and you learn, and now I can fight another day. But anyway, this game is essentially over. We're not going to get much more out of it, so we're going to go ahead and park this aircraft and exit and see if we can find a match that has a little bit more action in it. That's the old P-51. Really starting to like this plane a lot. Alright. Let's see. Oh, let me load up my American tanks again. You know how I'm frugal. Gotta let my vehicles repair overnight. Now let's see if we can pull up that Italian game now, because I really want that P108A Series 2. And I'm so close. So let's see if we can find us a... There it is. Boom, an Italian match against the Russians. There's a bunch of players here. We'll find some action now. Yes, Burgoman, 100% overspeed. I think I was about at 170-ish knots when that flap went, when the gear went down. was trying to use it to induce a little bit of extra drag. Really what I should have done is side slipped and used rudder. I'm just not quite comfortable enough in this aircraft to get a good slip going. And so I just decided I'll just use my landing gear. And I was thinking that the new, more robust construction would be able to handle 10 or 15 extra knots on the gear, and I'd be able to deploy it a little bit earlier to help me slow down. And my thinking was 100% incorrect. But now I know. Alright, let's get some... Let me see, show you what we're flying here. We're in the C-202 Folgore, an Italian fighter with one of the best climb rates of this tier. This thing climbs at almost 5,000 feet a minute. A little bit lackluster on the guns. It's got two 7.7 millimeters and or two 7.92. No, two 7.7, and then two 12.7 millimeter machine guns. So it can definitely use a little bit of extra oomph. Firepower department, or 5,000 feet of climb per minute. You can really dictate the engagements. And despite its lackluster armament, it does carry quite a bit of ammunition, which is nice. Go ahead and clean these flaps up. Make sure the doors and open sectors don't power. And let's get going. Get some aileron trim on this thing. Some elevator trim. Let's get smooth. Let's get fast. Let's get high. Start escaping for targets. We've already got 1, 2, 1 o'clock distant. Clear left. And we're clear right. We got a cover call here. The dudes are probably getting blasted by the enemy anti-aircraft artillery now. So it's not a good place to be. He's right here, and this airfield is probably lighting him up. Looks like we got a little bit of rain. But the ceiling looks pretty high. That's good. Lots of visibility. Destroy enemy attackers at Bravo 6. Are they on their way out or on their way in? The only thing I don't like about the rain is all those spots like aircraft. And then we do actually have four aircraft down low. Okay, those attackers look like they might be on their way in. This aircraft is not very well suited to attacker and bomber objectives. Again, referencing back to the lackluster armament. It just doesn't pack the punch needed to take out large airframes. And their defensive firepower normally makes pretty short work of you. My favorite thing about this aircraft, though, other than the climb rate, is look at that. Look at that view to the rear. That's awesome. You don't get a whole lot of that on Axis teams. And I think the whole C-200 line pretty much retains that superior rearward visibility. And that comes in super handy, especially when you're using your climb to your advantage and you're able to put somebody just above your elevator and to the left of your rudder. You can just keep them in sight and turn with them until you see them stall. And once you see them stall and they go into recovery mode, you've still got excess energy to be able to turn around and engage them in a controlled fashion. And a lot of my kills come from not actually getting legitimate kills, but finding people in stalling situations like that where I've caused them to go vertical and stall out, and then I turn around, chase them down, and drive few dozen rounds into their fuselage just before they slam into the earth. And that's still a kill. And to me, a kill's a kill. I'm not here to only have honorable kills or anything like that. I'll take as many points as I can get, and I'll take my kills any way I can get them. That guy is on fine approach to their runway. I'm not gonna fall into that trap. So let's go check out these attackers. Even though I literally just got done telling you guys that this plane sucks at doing the attackers, and it does. It's still 100% true. Points is points. They're beginning their attack dive now. So we're just going to find one, single them out. I'm actually going to try to stick with those two fighters up on the top. Let's see if we can take the fighters out. Oh, compensating for your torque? Absolutely. 100%. So some aircraft have a left turning tendency and some aircraft have a right turning tendency. And it depends on the way that the prop spins, the way that the engine is mounted. So a lot of Russian aircraft tend to have right turning tendencies. And most other aircraft, especially modern, like, you know, even today, any single engine aircraft is going to have mostly a left turning tendency. Hold on a second. Let's go lag on this guy. Looks like he actually might be a lag. No, it's probably a Yak 1. Slow down. We're gonna chop power. Pull up. Oh. Come on. Alright. Those are some hits. Oh, Jesus! Oh, no! Oh, really? I lost it. Yeah, the Russians have. Oh my God, that's embarrassing. Yeah, I tried to pull back around in behind him and just keep my eye on him and lost sight of the ground. Sort of went into a semi-wing stall there. Just no time to recover. Realized it. Had no time to recover. So yes, when you're on the ground. You start your engine, the prop wants to rotate the fuselage in the opposite direction of the prop, but since you're on the ground and the fuselage is unable to roll in the opposite direction of the engine, that same torque force gets transitioned into, or gets like transformed into yaw on the ground. So in that aircraft there, I needed to give right rudder in order to counteract it. And as you begin to roll, you progressively give less and less right rudder as you gain airspeed and your rudder gains authority. Like when you first start, you're not moving, so there's not a lot of airflow over the rudder. And you've got to give a lot of rudder in order to get a little effect. And then as you gain airspeed, the rudder it gains more and more authority until eventually you can almost completely let it go. And so to help you even further than just using rudder to counteract your engine's torque, sometimes you have to use differential braking. So in aircraft, they're unlike cars where you just have a brake. When you press the brake, it's evenly applied on the left and right side. Aircraft have differential braking, so you have a left brake and a right brake that I'm controlling with my toes. So I've got my pedals here that I can push with my heels, but then I can also, like a gas pedal, move my left and right foot down individually with one another, and they are respectively my left and right brake. So sometimes aircraft produce so much power and have so much left turning tendency, or their rudders just can't produce the amount of authority that you need in order to counteract it, that sometimes in order to start your takeoff roll, you need to even use a little bit of the opposite brake to induce a little bit of drag on that side of the aircraft to keep it from losing runway center.
So yes, 100% counteracting aircraft torque is a thing, and you'll notice the exact same thing happens in the air. And that's one of the techniques that you can even use to get out of really deadly flat spin stalls. Your aircraft seems to find a really perfect balance, and you just lose all authority of your controls, and you're kind of just pancaking down, straight down to the earth. Oftentimes, the only way that you can break that balance is by actually shutting down your engine and then restarting it, and then increasing the power rapidly in order to help break you out of that balance. But if I were to lower my engine power and then suddenly increase it even right now, I would experience a slight amount of roll. Looks like a miss. Call for cover. Let's go over this guy. Go lag behind him. Move up right. Oh, no, 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 not again, not again, not again, not again. Okay, There, we almost did it again. A little bit of a left wing stall, but I was able to pull out of it. But this guy was able to get on our, was almost done reversing. We're still experiencing, I'm doing full right aileron right now. I'm trying to get out of this thing. So we have lost the advantage here. He is now on our 6. So we're going to try to use our superior rate of climb to get into a more favorable position. He's firing at us. Looks like he's got... He's starting to take a couple of chunks out. I'm going to go inverted. Need to let the engine cool down. Call for cover again. Need to open up these radiators all the way. Come on, stall out, stall out, stall out, stall out, stall out. There we go. We're in the stall. Shutting the engine down. Let it cool off. Just took a hit. Need to recover from the stall. He's stalling. Let's see if we can use this opportunity to get back behind him. Oh, we just sent him into the ground. One of his buddies just went into the ground. But I still got a second one on me. Come on, where's my team at? Give me some help here. Ow! Alright, we're leaking fuel now. Where's on me? Where's on me? Alright, you're over here. She's at my 1 o'clock. Okay, alright. They just pulled left. Might be able to have an opportunity if I can just roll. Come on, come here. Nope, 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 nope. Cover again. Jeez. Alright, they're still on me. Right there. Here come the rounds. Here come the rounds. Ow. Come on, teammate. Get him. Got him. Well, I didn't get him. The teammate got him. we are very crippled. We got a lot of holes in places we shouldn't have holes. I'm having trouble just keeping the wings level. I'm thinking we're gonna have asymmetric flap extensions. Looks like the landing gear might be okay. We're leaking fuel. Looks like one tank is unaffected on the right side, so we should still have, shouldn't leak all of our fuel. The engine is actually in pretty decent shape. We are leaking oil, so it's got a limited amount of time left for sure. I think we'll be able to make it back. I maneuver killed one of them into the ground. I only saw it for a split second, but when I pulled up from the ground, I probably had maybe 5 feet to spare. The little lad behind me, he had no feet to spare, and he slammed to the earth. But his number 2 stayed on me. Luckily, our teammate, let's see, who was it? This guy, Tamonamoname, was able to come in and take out that LAC 3 that was on us. So this is going to be a rough landing for sure. I'm having trouble just keeping this thing flying even at speed. Once we start getting slow, it's going to get way worse real quick. I'm on a right dog leg to final now, just beyond that tree line, I think, right there. See the smoking carcasses from so many allies crashing. There's the runway in sight. Let's go ahead and start slowing down. Let's go ahead and test out the flaps real quick. Asymmetric, so let's go ahead and pull those right back up. We're going to go a flapless landing. Slow down a bit, get this gear down. Gear down. Gear locked. 138 knots and reducing. Lining up with the runway here. You can see the plane wants to roll very violently to the left. I'm kind of all I can to keep it level here. There it is. There's the runway. Alright. Shut down the engine. We got her back home. I was not expecting to come out of that alive. Yeah. Well, the dirt had it coming. I had to kamikaze into something, and yeah, this thing, you can see all the bullet holes in it. Definitely holes in places there shouldn't be holes. But we got it back. Actually scored quite a few points too. Transferring fuel, I do not think that's possible, no. At least not that I'm aware of. There's a lot of controls in full realism, but I don't think fuel transfer is one of them. No, there's no sort of fuel transfer. That'd be dope. Alright, let's go ahead and bring in some takeoff flaps. So you can see how I'm kind of getting wobbly to, you know, like you were talking about earlier with having to counteract the engine's torque. And there it is right there, like I'm actually having to give right aileron because the engine wants to force the plane to roll to the left once it does hit the ground. You can see how wobbly it is on the departure just because when you're not super familiar with an aircraft, you don't always know. Sometimes you overcompensate and you kind of oversteer, understeer a situation. You're trying to find that balance, and then that balance is changing rapidly. So even once you do find it, it's only for just a split second, and you basically have to stay in a really narrow tolerance the whole time in order to actually get the plane to go perfectly straight down the runway. Alright, so I didn't shoot anybody down, but I tangoed with them pretty well. But man, my rate of climb let me down. Those lags just they don't care about how fast I can climb. I mean, he stayed right there with me. Alright, we got 8 o'clock distant, 2 targets. That's a bomber formation right there. Oh, that's actually the attacker formation. Those 2 guys down low level. That's what I'm interested in right now. Those are actually allied attackers right there. These 2 guys, I don't know who they are. I am not sure either. I don't know how prevalent fuel pumps and fuel transfers were for aircraft of that era. A lot of these planes don't even have fuel pumps at all. They're just float carburetors. So they certainly wouldn't have had any of the equipment necessary. And then the few that do have fuel injection and fuel pumps associated with those systems, I don't believe they had any of the extra plumbing, essentially. Yeah, that's 2 allied fighters. They look like HE-100s. No, that's not HE-100s. Yeah, it's a Heinkel 100. That's what it is. So, no, I don't think so. And I don't think it was as critically important for them. Because fuel balance, from what I understand, take this with a grain of salt, but fuel balance matters much more now because we typically use the fuel, the wings, as fuel tanks. So making sure that you're sipping evenly from each tank is pretty important, because if you make your left side weigh 200 pounds more than your right side by drinking only the fuel out of one side or the other, you're going to have a really hard time keeping the wings level, and eventually you may get to a point where the disparity is so large that even full aileron input won't repair the imbalance. But World War II fighters, they use their wings for the storage of ammunition and the mounting of weaponry. And most of their fuel tanks, while there are a few cases that I can think of where, I mean, there's plenty of examples where they did have fuel in the wings. Most of that fuel was on the inboard side, very tucked nice and near the fuselage. but most of the fuel tanks would have been behind the pilot, you know, in the seat, and just in line with the fuselage. So you're less likely to get left and right imbalance, and I don't think that that was something that they really needed to worry about too much. Yeah, that lag was definitely in a better energy state than I was. I tried to turn fight with him, and that was a mistake. If I would have made the first pass and pulled my deflection shot and then stayed fast, I think I would have been much, much safer. But I chose to pull a lag turn and try to get behind him to get a cleaner 6 o'clock position. And he was able to outturn me, and I, instead of disengaging while I still had airspeed, I chose to try to turn with him. And that is not this aircraft's strong suit, and eventually he was able to overtake me. And he had backup. So I went from a position of advantage to disadvantage very quickly, and once I realized it, I tried to get out of it by just going full rocket ship mode, and he definitely had the energy to keep up with me. I think if we had both started out on an even playing field with similar airspeeds and altitudes, I think I could have used my climbing tactic to get out of that situation. That's just my little, you know, post-engagement assessment. You know, take that with a grain of salt. I don't, not 100% sure. This guy's trying to harass my attackers. It's like JU-87s. That head right there does not look friendly. He does, yeah, that's another C202. Alright. We're calling attention to the grid square. There's a lot going on up here. That's my C202 again. Same aircraft I met. JU-87, that's a JU-87. Saw traces over here for just a moment. There might have been residuals from the ground battle. That's two JU-87s. Alright, 3 o'clock. They're calling attention over there. 2 targets. And I think I see them up there coming in high. That is not a JU-87. Italian bomber, tri-engine bomber, the Z1007. I was flying that bomber earlier today. I really like that thing. It's pretty slick looking, I think. Right here. I think this is a likely candidate. Maybe another full bore. thinking that's another C-202. Looks like I'm saturated with allies right now. J-87 just took out a lag. Raven's on the stream. Alright, it looks like I got somebody right here struggling to fly. It looks like one of them Russian biplanes. The I-115 or something like that. Russians love to fly these things, even in a higher tier. The HE-51, wow, okay, fair enough. But that guy right there is harassing mine attackers. It's a Yak 1, very, very dangerous. I hope my Ju-87s can get a few hits on him. He's just making short work of those guys. BF-109. Here we go. Alright. Dropping my parachute there. It's... Got him. And I think we missed him by like a foot. Alright, let's report that kill. And we got tracers coming in on our 6. Right there. Alright, he just turned right. Let's follow. Watch the ground. There he is right there. Let's go ahead and recover. There's my candidate right there. Looks like another Yak 1. Alright, let's figure out this trim real quick. I hope he tries to climb. Oh, buddy. Try to outclimb me. Looks like he accidentally pulled the trigger. Chance here. Couple of hits there. Stalling out. Alright, let's cool left, keep him in sight, come back around and hit him in the stall. Slow down. Gotta be fucking quick but accurate. Nope, not enough time, but I did get him. Call that another maneuver kill. Climbing back up. Ammo count, check that. Let's see, yeah, we had a jet with tank 2 fuel gauge and up, so there was actually significantly more fuel in tank 2 than tank 3. For whatever reason, the PC flight engineer, the aircraft commander didn't dipstick it prior to the flight, and they ended up having to have 3 degree of rudder trim just to maintain level flight, which is not within limits at all, so they returned down the jet immediately. Yep, for sure. Fuel is heavy. I think a gallon of water weighs about 6 pounds. And fuel is pretty similar. Fuel is lighter, but not by a very large margin. And I think that's the calculation for it. So these things burn a lot of gas. I mean, a Cessna 172 Skyhawk, a very small plane. Just like a typical little Cessna, 4-passenger, mom and pop kind of deal. That thing drinks 8 gallons of fuel an hour. So you can imagine how much the fuel weighs, and when the fuel balance is off, it significantly affects the performance. And I mean, in a Skyhawk, just sliding your seat forward or backward will make a dramatic difference in the center of gravity of the aircraft. So you can imagine what it's like to have hundreds of pounds difference from one side to the next. And we're hit on the right side. We're missing a little right wingtip. Let's see if we can recover. We're missing the right side of the wing there. Come on, roll left, roll left, roll left, roll left. Come on. No. What a shot. But now I get this one has cannons. I'm thinking we probably earned enough experience at this point to get my bomber, my attacker rather, that I want. Alright, Bergman, when are you going to download WarThunder? When are we going to fly together? You've watched a stream of it for like an hour and a half now. I think it's safe to say you're at least semi-interested. And it's free. Trek dude, or whatever his name is, whoever blasted my right wingtip off, he's still out here somewhere. Could that be him? Let's check the battle log. Not Shrek, Sahek. Whatever. There we go. It's like 2 people engaging up there, maybe. Double checking that the gear was up, because I hadn't fully checked my flaps. There we go. They are fighting. Just lost sight of one of them. He's there. There he goes. Three of them. two in the back look Russian. The engagement on the left side, I have no idea. Right here in the back is Russian. Come on, no hits on that, for real? Okay. Alright, that's okay. Jeez. Took a hit to the engine block. I cannot believe that deflection shot didn't connect. Ow. Come on, man. There's 3 on 2. Yeah, WarThunder just got WarThunder did just get ships here pretty recently, and they are cool. Matter of fact, since you're here, I'll pull them up real quick. Since I'm also doing terribly. Oh, no wonder it's so hot in here. Catherine still has her freaking heater on. Get out of here, heater. I hate that thing. Oh, a medal. For what? Getting shot down? Oh, defeating 300 players. Okay, fair enough. I'll get that bomber. Alright. Ships. These are the ships. And you can see the internals modeled. They've got the transmissions, the engines, the fuel tanks, they've got the ammunition storage. They've got the elevators, the steering, got the internals modeled. There's another one of my ships. Same deal. Really good detail inside of them. Yeah, the ships are a lot of fun. Here, let me pull up my ship controls real quick. Oop. 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 Take you to a quick ship battle so you can check it out. And the tanks are a ton of fun too. I play everything on WarThunder. Play a lot of sim air, and then realistic ground and arcade ships. But yeah, I used to play a lot of like World of Warships, and it's very beautiful game, but after a while, it gets really boring. It's not really dynamic. It's very arcadey and just feels like bumper boats. And it just got to a point where it just wasn't satisfying at all. And I kept sticking with it. Like, well, if I get to a higher level, you know, it'll get better. And I got to the aircraft carriers and stuff like that, and it was just same story. And then that's when I got really disappointed, was getting to the aircraft and realizing that being an aircraft carrier basically turned the game into a real-time strategy, like Red Alert, where you're selecting aircraft squadrons and telling them where to go and what to bomb, but not actually controlling it yourself. And that when your planes would get to within a certain distance, predetermined by the upgrades of that ship. You know, like some ships were anti-aircraft, so you couldn't get within 7 kilometers of them. And if you were within 7 kilometers, your planes just took damage over time. And the planes had hit points. And you took so much damage over time until your planes ran out of hit points, and then they were dead. And that was it. Like, that was how engaging the aircraft carriers were. So I think War Thunder's done an amazing job with the ships in that the damage is not hit point based. It's much more complicated, much more engaging, much more dynamic. Shooting anti-aircraft at aircraft is a skill-based system. Where you are aiming the weapons or having the AI aim the weapons for you, and they're firing real projectiles that are being, you know, the ballistic properties of which are being tracked, and the rounds have to make kinetic impacts with the aircraft. And then you have the same damage models that you just saw in simulation, where instead of the aircraft just losing hit points, you're losing weapon systems, or, you know, leaking fuel, or having damage to your radiators. Much more fun. Now this is all still in like early, like closed or open beta testing now, is what this is in. So it's still got a long ways to go. But where this is compared to where World of Warships is, way better, in my opinion. Head down here, see if I can cap Charlie real quick. I think all the games, I think War Thunder, every mode is awesome. I love the tanks, I love the ships, I love the aircraft. And I'm down to play whatever. I think I'm a lot more passionate about simulation air. I just kind of, you know, I enjoy the tanks a lot, but I don't stream it, you know. I just kind of do it for fun. On my own. But the people that I play got a 40mm Bofors cannon, rapid fire, rapidly changing directions. See up in the top right corner where the damage, I mean, I'm not taking out his hit points. I am damaging modules on his ships. His right side torpedo launcher is basically disabled at this point. You know, so he was just detonated. Somebody hit his ammunition stowage, and he was exploded violently like that, like you just saw watching some. like the rounds are ricocheting and, you know, penetrating different modules, and you're killing crew, and it tells you how many, you know, like, I mean, if there's any sort of hit points, that's the hit point system, is the fact that there's crew. You can, you know, you can kill the crew, you can destroy the modules, you can detonate the magazines, you know, there's no limit to the amount of ways that you can be killed. These ships are screwed. If those rounds connect with me, I am screwed. I'm essentially a little speedboat there in full-on destroyers and cruisers. I gotta try to keep getting some. Now I'm playing arcade mode, so my torpedoes reload, which is the best part about it. That's why I play arcade. Oh, we got that guy. Torpedo just connected. Oh, we got another one. 2 torpedoes just connected. We got the light cruiser and the destroyer. Gunboat out here now. He's a little bit dangerous because he's got smaller caliber, more rapidly firing guns that still will hurt me much more than I can hurt him. These are like little pinpricks to him. Let's see here. Let's get some torpedoes on him. Some more torpedoes at this guy. Ow. Yeah, good. I'm glad this is Water Warships is cool. Don't get me wrong. But I like this a lot better. You know, this is yes. Oh yes. Got that gunboat. Man, these people need to change course and speed. If you're in a giant boat like that, you see a guy like me aiming at you. Change direction, but we got torpedoes coming in. You can see them coming in from a while before your crew recognizes it. Oh, we got planes coming in on us. That's not good. Watch a quick salvo at that guy. Do another smoke screen. Yep. Those rounds that hit just now. Oof. If any of those rounds connect, we are toast. 100% toast. We got another destroyer killed with torpedoes. Man, this is a great example of a game to show you. But don't let this set the expectation of how well it's supposed to go, because I don't normally kill 4 destroyers or 3 destroyers and a light cruiser in a tiny little boat like this. These guys are just not reacting well to my presence. Aircraft are starting to figure it out now. I'm pretty sure the aircraft that are harassing me are the ones that I've just killed recently. This is why I play arcade ships. Reloading torpedoes. Now this is going to be a suicide run. There's no way I'm getting out of this from close range. Oh, smart. He waited till I launched everything. So he actually knew what he was doing for torpedo avoidance. Should have saved some. ship on the just falling apart. Hey, we win! So yeah, that's the boats, man. And that's all free. I mean, I logged in one day and it was available for play. And I mean, so far they only have destroyers, light cruisers, PT boats, and like gun barges and stuff like that. Like here's the American line. Here, so you can go to the fleet tab. They got helicopters too now. I'm not sure if you're aware of that. This is not something that I'm very familiar with. I'm just not high enough level to mess with these yet. But they do have helicopters in the game now. And they're interesting, I think. Different dynamic. The fleet, you know, you start off in like little PT boats and you can kind of work your way up to gunships. There's actually a hydrofoil here, and you can accelerate and get on step and actually like lift the hull out of the water and reduce the amount of drag you're getting, and then you're essentially like this huge jet boat that's like skiing. They got the light cruisers. I don't own any of these, I'm just previewing them. But they're all, I think, very beautifully done. You know, this is the part that World of Warships was missing out on. I mean, otherwise it's very similar. But that level of detail, instead of saying that a ship has 10,000 hit points, no, that's not. Like, you know, draw up my armor, put my angles in there, put all my components in there. You know, you got each engine, you got the transmissions, all of it. You got fuel tanks, you got smokestacks, you got radio rooms and bridges, and it all plays in. And I think that's a million times more interesting than the way World of Warships worked. So I'm glad you enjoy it, man. You should definitely give it a shot. Anyway, that's not what I'm supposed to be streaming. I just wanted to show you that since you were asking about it. Let's get back into Sim. Let's do some German. Yeah, man, you should definitely check out the boats. It's all free now except for UK. You can play US, German, and Russian boats for free. I think Russian has like a lot of like armored kind of boats. Like they've got, where's an example of that? Hold on. A lot of these things are just like little floating tanks. Like, look at this thing. It's interesting. I look forward to playing that with you if you do get on here. All right, let's try some German tier 4 or tier 3. Let's get back into Sim. That's what I'm supposed to be doing. Let's see. That's the one I want. Yes, those planes that were strafing me, those were player-controlled aircraft that were, you know, controlling the aircraft. Not like they had been in a boat, they had died, and then they were able to respawn in an aircraft. So they weren't like sailing around somewhere and they had jumped into an airplane. They were actually dedicated flying an aircraft. I love the BF-110.
Oh, I gotta load up my sim controls again. Boop, boop, boop.
So yeah, that's you were asking were those aircraft that were shooting at me and harassing me, were they players? Yes. Yes, they were, and that was another really big, like, the fact that there's not a bunch of bot aircraft flying around that are just being controlled as like a giant squadron, and some dude's got a God's eye view top down where he's just like right-clicking, playing an RTS, and they're just dropping like, you can go on a torpedo run, and you actually have to do the torpedo run, and you have to get down and dirty, and you've got to avoid the flak. And I was actually hoping to spawn into an aircraft to show you what it was like from that perspective, because it's absolutely gorgeous. You know, when you approach the battlefield and all the ships just light up like little Christmas trees, and the rounds are, you know, just streaming up at you, and you're doing all this crap and, you know, trying to evade it. It's so much more fun than what they had going on in World of Warships, for sure. Alright, if this is, and it is, I'm gonna go ahead and dump bombs, free up that weight, and I'm pretty sure that this guy right here that's friendly. The F-109. Looks like I might have dumped the bombs a little early. Of course, as soon as I dump the bombs, the dogfight's over. That's what I'm hoping for. So they're like supposed to be working on like a World War mode. You said you'd like to see a game with like tanks and planes and ships and everything all together. I think that is in the works. Like a World War mode type setting, where the, you know, don't have a lot of details on it, but I'm imagining like, you know, persistent, enduring confrontations to, oh my god, all these howitzers are down in the tree lines. Alright, this is gonna be tough. But yeah, I'm imagining like an enduring confrontation style map, with, you know, persistent online world where the battle is constantly ebbing and flowing, and you're fighting for like gigantic city objectives and whatnot, as opposed to just being in a localized tiny little map. Because I mean, if you're gonna do something like that, it's got to be on a grand scale. You can't have destroyers parked right on top of tanks just shelling them to death. Like, I mean, you got to be talking about, and EC does that pretty good. I mean, these maps are gigantic, but even these ones I'm not sure would be large enough for battles like that. I'd love to see, you know, ships defending landing craft coming in, dropping off tanks on the beaches. I can't see anything in that forest. I need to find some howitzers. I see the tanks moving. Golly, I can't see anything down there. Oh, there's one. Right there. Come here, come here, come here, come here. There's two of them, actually. Fuck.
Whoops. That was a way overcommit. Yeah, similar to tanks where you get enough points and now you can bring in additional vehicles and whatnot. Let's bring in an actual fighter. Let's remove those cannons. Let's bring in my F4 Trop. The BF-109 is one of those aircraft that requires some right differential braking, because this thing wants to pull hard to the left. If you do not have or if you don't have differential braking set it up. Whoa! Holy shit! Whoa! 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 Okay. That was an enemy P-47. They are here. Now I'm paranoid. Traffic 1 o'clock distant. They're dogfighting over there. Definitely dogfighting out there. Alright, we gotta make a decision. I gotta split off one of them. Thinking that's a P-63 up ahead. Just a guess. Stall out here. Got a couple of hits. He's leaking stuff he shouldn't be leaking. This looks promising. Go down, go down, go down. I thought he was going down. Good boy. Oh, come on. Oh, all right.
A little bit of a wing stall there. We pulled out of it. Alright, now I'm disoriented. There we go. One. Yeah, I guess you'll download WarThunder again? Alright. Good, man. I'll be glad to have you back. I'm glad that I could convince you with one ship game. You do not have to play Simulation Air with me. I love Simulation Air, but like I said, I play everything. And I've got people that play only arcade tanks. I've got people that play only realistic ground. I've got people that play only Sim Air, and if you're on, we can squad up and we can play whatever you want. I'll play any country, any tier that I possess. I pretty much am like tier 3 on every country. So, you know, if you want to play US, I'll play US with you. If you want to play German, I've got you. If you want to play Air, I got you. Arcade, realistic, simulator, doesn't matter to me. I just happen to only stream Simulation Air because nobody gives a shit about my arcade tanks or my realistic tanks. Nobody really gives a shit about my Simulation Air either. I mean, who am I kidding? I just find it a lot more interesting and worthy, at least in my mind's eye, of actually being streamed. Like, arcade tanks is a ton of fun, but, you know, realistic tanks is a ton of fun. But it's not exactly like making a YouTube video worthy of, I guess, skill. I would be cautious to even say skill. You see how I fly. I'd say it's more in the neighborhood of luck sometimes. You know, sometimes I have kills like that one back there, and sometimes I plummet into the earth, you know, and it's... You just never know what you're going to get. So I stream it all the time, so that way I can capture any of the good moments, and I conveniently edit out all of my kamikazing into the ground. And then I put it on YouTube so my mom can watch it, basically. She's my biggest YouTube fan. Alright, we got a bunch of attackers up here. Oh, this one's a little closer than I thought. He'll die. Oh, shit. Fuck. Oh my god, that hurt. I'm having trouble controlling now. Damn, come on. Give me just a couple more minutes. A couple more minutes, come on. I can kill this guy. Fuck, these guys hit hard. God, come on, keep it together. This plane is trying to fall apart on me. Oh, come on, don't wing stall, don't wing stall, don't wing stall, don't wing stall. There we go. We are out of ammo. We are out of time. Come on, come on, come on. I'm like almost full right aileron just to keep this thing from flipping over on me. Come on. We did bag a couple of kills there though. Come on. Look at that. That's what I'm doing to stay level right now. So, this is my life right now. The landing is going to be interesting. Also, we're losing our engine. No easy days. We're not going to have time for... there goes our prop. Prop RPMs are all over the map now. And of course there's a tree line just before we get to the runway. I'm full right aileron. Slowly losing power. Nah, we're not gonna make it, I don't think. But now we get to play... Oh, not my U-12. This thing, U-12. Alright. So it's got two 20mm guns with two 7.92mm machine guns. Then I've got four 20mm gun pods. That's six 20mm guns on this thing. And it just absolutely butchers everything to death. Let's go A4. I don't fly the A4 a whole lot. Yes. So you said you don't have the gear to play sim, and I can respect that. That's it's been a while since I've flown this thing. Let's try not to rip the landing gear off with. Trying to get back on the damn runway. I'm like full right rudder right now. There we go. So I can respect that, but I just want you to know that you can totally play sim with just an Xbox or a PlayStation controller. That's how we play it at work. We've got a whole group of guys that when we're on break, we all play WarThunder Sim. And that's all we have is an Xbox controller, and we all do pretty good. Now, I'm at home right now. Home is where I stream from. I don't stream from work. But I do play from work, and I play with an Xbox controller. And you can do all the views and everything like that with just that. And be competitive. Track IR is definitely awesome. Having a joystick and rudder pedals is definitely awesome. But it's not required. You don't have to have it in order to do well. Now, you need to set up good simulator controls if you want to do that. That's a Russian. That's the YER. No, yeah, that's a YER. It's a Russian bomber. Track IR is definitely awesomer than the Xbox controller, but you can do both. Oh, it's an MB-162. That's news to me. You got a hit on our engine, so I'll pull a quick downwind and get this thing repaired real quick. Oh yeah, you definitely don't want to play on mouse and keyboard. I mean, I know people who do. I've got people that I can put you in touch with, and they are good. I mean, like, they are really good with mouse and keyboard, and they've got some pretty crazy control setup for it. I can't do mouse and keyboard. People definitely do. I think it's crazy. But an Xbox controller makes a lot more sense to me. You control the view with your right thumb, and control your aircraft with the triggers, and left joystick. And just gonna land this thing. I'm leaking oil. One bullet found its way into the engine cowling, so I'm just gonna get a quick little refresher here. Get that gear down, the side slip, bring the flaps down. Ah! We don't run out of runway here. I'm trying to slow down as much as I can. That's about as aggressive as a side slip as I can do. There's the end of the runway. Made it. Yeah, sim definitely has a lot to do with, you know, keeping your head on a swivel and being aware of your surroundings. And I mean, most of the time you get shot down by people that you never even saw, and sometimes you shoot down people that never saw you, and that's just the way it goes sometimes. And I, you know, in arcade you can get behind somebody and drive rounds into them, and it feels like you're shooting at them for like a half an hour. And then you come over here to sim, and all it takes is like 2 or 3 bullets to lodge into the engine. You know, 1 incendiary round to open up that fuel tank, and you've got and you've got a kill. I mean, you don't have to put a whole lot of rounds on target. These planes are very fragile, and the rounds that they fire are extremely effective, and that really comes to light and shines through in the simulator mode, where, I mean, you've seen the kills that I've got in this amount of time. It's mostly about aiming, you know, and you have very limited ammo. You know, I've got 1,800 rounds of MG ammo, which is a lot. Some of the aircraft I fly, I have aircraft that I fly, for example, that have 60 bullets in the guns. That's it. Just 60 bullets. There's one plane that I fly in particular that takes off. It has 2 20mm cannons, and each cannon has 60 bullets. So you have 120 total bullets to fire, and they go quick. And so being accurate is the most important thing, and conserving your ammunition and keeping an eye on the state of your plane, and, you know, the state of your fuel. I've run out of fuel before because I wasn't paying attention. I've burned my engine out because I wasn't paying attention to temperatures. I've you know, crashed into the ground because I lost sight of it. I've been surprised by people that dove down on me because I didn't have my head on a swivel. And I look back just as I said, oh, that is the enemy right there. Alright. That looks like an air cobra right there. Shit, too high. See, that's all it takes. Doesn't take much. A couple of well-placed shots. The Focke-Wulf 190 is one of your favorite planes? I do love the FW-190. I think it's a great plane, but I gotta disagree with you. I'm a BF-109 ever since I was a kid. Don't know how to explain it, don't know why, but BF-109. Which is really shitty because my grandfather was a tail gunner on B-17s in World War II, and I was like the only grandchild that gave a shit, which is really unfortunate. But I mean, he, like, you know, he would light up because I read his journal, I cared about his medals, and I'm like an 8-year-old kid, and I'm sitting there like, you know, I've got books on all the airplanes, and I can name all the silhouettes because I just loved it. I was just a huge airplane nerd, and so him and I always got along over that. But I could never tell him that my favorite airplane in the world was a BF-109, the thing that literally like haunted his nightmares and was sent up to kill him how many countless times. You know, so I never dared to say it to you know, people in my family and whatnot at the time. But yeah, I've always thought the BF-109 was like one of the best looking airplanes ever, and I'm so glad there's like freaking 15 versions of it in this game. You know, you can play it like almost right off the bat, and you keep playing it. Same thing with FW-190. You know, they've got the early models, and then they just keep upgrading them. All right, looks like we got another little fight going on right over here. Yeah, man. I love me some BF-109. But as far as flying in War Thunder, nothing beats that. As far as German aircraft goes, nothing beats that view. The BF-109s have a bunch of freaking bulletproof shields behind the pilot's head, and it really inhibits your rearward visibility. So you remember when I was flying that C-202 Fulgor, and I was just like so happy about how great the view was to the rear, and that's why. It's because my experience flying the BF-109. It's so nice being able to turn around and see what's behind you. And if the BF-109 just had some better visibility, I think it would be the best plane in the game. It's got great ammunition count, it's got great energy retention, it's a great turn fighter at low speeds, at high speeds. It's got a healthy mix of different armaments. I mean, you got 7mm, you got 15mm, you got 20mm, you got ordnance packages, you got good armoring. That looks like a DO-217 right there, but I gotta double check. That's a DO-217, right? Yep, DO-217 Echo. That right there, I don't know what that is. Off in the distance. Trying to get this A point. He looks like another DO, if you ask me. Right? EO, right? Yeah. The B-51's your favorite because you're a patriot. Yeah, I'm definitely a dick for my favorite plane being German when I live in the United States, especially considering my grandfather was a tail gunner on B-17s. Like, that just really drives that nail into the coffin. But you know, I can't fight it, man. You can't control your first love. And I mean, I'm telling you, like, this isn't even a later years adult thing. Like this, I was an 8-year-old kid, and I first set eyes on the BF-109. I was like, that's the best goddamn looking airplane I've ever seen in my life. And my sentiment has never changed. And every time I've gotten an opportunity to, I've played BF-109s. And you know, and I've never really cared for the P-51. I know that one gets all the glory, but I mean, if we're talking just U.S. airplanes, I mean, my favorite U.S. airplane is probably got to be the P-61, the Black Widow. But as far as like classical fighters, I think it's P-47. You know, good old Thunderbolt. But if I was gonna have to fly something, if I got like time warped back to World War II and it was selected as a fighter pilot or something like that, I feel like I would want to fly a P-38 if I had to fly something. The bombers, some of them have cockpit models, but they are very basic. So they all have internal views, like they all have a cockpit view, but like this is a pretty good recreation of an FW-190's cockpit, whereas the bombers, most of the bombers are very bare bones, just, you know, basic instrument panels and bland textures. They're not very well detailed. And I don't think Gaijin has any plans to do a whole lot of detail, because supposedly it takes a lot of developmental time to do the cockpits and to make them all historically accurate, and there's just so many bombers and they're just not very popular, and they've determined that it's essentially not worth their time to waste so many man hours modeling all the bombers with such high accuracy. So the fighters are all pretty well done. But yes, the bombers do have cockpit view. They're just not like nearly as detailed as this. Yeah, and if you don't have an Xbox controller, you know, because I've heard people say that before, like, oh, well, you know, I don't have an Xbox controller. I literally bought mine. It was like a Xbox 360 controller. I got it from Goodwill for I think $10. You know, it looked like it was brand new. Like it looked like nothing was wrong with it. I just got a wired controller, and yeah, and it works just fine. You don't need to go out and get like the brand new. I think like the controllers now for Xboxes and PlayStations, they're like $100 for a brand new one. But you don't need all that. You just need 2 joysticks. That's it. 2 little thumbsticks. So the old Xbox 360 controllers work just fine. Even the new ones would work too. You don't need to spend that much money. So if you're gonna go out and look for one, don't waste your money on these super expensive ones. Oh yeah, no, I totally agree with you. Having a favorite aircraft doesn't, yeah, like, I definitely don't agree with the German social policies at all, and I'm really glad I'm not speaking German right now, but you're right, they knew how to make some really cool machines, and I think everyone can give them credit for that. You know, the German engineering was really, they came up with some pretty awesome stuff. I mean, I love their armored vehicles. I think the Panzer IV is like one of the best tanks. If I had to pick a favorite tank, I'd say the Panzer IV. And yeah, all of their aircraft are just so elegant and well done, or they're like so crazy and purpose-built. Just incredible machines. I mean, like, look at the Tirpitz and the Scharnhorst, you know, the Bismarck. All of them were just like engineering marvels, if you ask me. But no, the Third Reich was definitely pretty shitty. Not a fan of the Nazi Party. I do love me a good BF-109. And yeah, I mean, if you're a fan of aviation, you should be able to detach your the government ideologies from the aesthetics of the aircraft and just appreciate the airplane for what it is, and not the ideologies behind its production, I guess. Totally agree with you on that. Just because I'm in the United States doesn't mean my favorite plane has to be a United States aircraft. But I damn sure never told my grandfather that. Probably would not have seen things my way. Like, you know, you just sat me down and had a serious conversation. Like, you realize those things tried to kill me like every day in the war. Here we go, we got action. I read his war journal from cover to cover multiple times. I inherited it, actually, when he died, and it was awesome. I was enthralled as a kid reading that thing. Shit, I missed. Looked good, felt good. That was what I needed to do. Oh, alright, we're stalling. Hold up. Alright, nose down, right aileron, right rudder. Regain level flight. Pull gently back. And recover. So we got somebody flying around back there. Lost sight of him. There he goes, there he goes. 1 o'clock. Who is this guy? Right here. Oh, looks like we took first place. Not a whole lot of competition, it seems. Oop, here we go. Where was he? I saw him just, there he goes, right there. P-51, 420mm cannons. Early jet aircraft in the game, I'd love to fly a MiG-17 in this game. The MiG-17 is probably one of the most badass aircraft of all time. You know, that is where I get lost, is on the jet aircraft. I've had, ever since I started playing this game, I've never had a desire to make it to or fly the jet aircraft. And for some reason, my interest in aviation totally skips over the Korean and Vietnam Wars. And I mean, I know about the jets, and you know, and I understand it and everything, but it's just I never found like the Sabre and the MiG and all that stuff to be as interesting, I guess. I don't know. I've never really cared much about you know, the Vietnam era stuff, and the F4s and the thuds. And I understand their significance and importance and whatnot, but I'm not in any rush to play 8.0 and 9.0 and all the jet-powered stuff in this game. To me, this is like tier 3 and 4. That's about where I want to be. Good old prop fighters, you know, engaging enemies at 400 meters and, you know, slinging bullets at each other instead of locking on missiles, and instead of having, you know, more advanced computers and whatnot, you're literally just looking at a crosshair. find us somebody to shoot at. Oh, here we go. We got somebody on our 6. Let's try to reverse this on them. Left-hand turn now. Get up underneath them. They're coming in head on. Now we're in a turn fight. Getting a little squirrely. That's okay. We regained it. Oh shit. He's pulling in on us. He's pulling lead on us. That's not good. That is not good. Ow, 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 ow. Don't touch me. Alright, we need to maneuver. We need to come up with a different plan. This is what we need to be doing right here. Is that a VG-33? Or that V-10? I don't know. That freaking contra-rotating prop. The French jobby. It's like a heavy interceptor. I mean, I would think not, because he's turning with me like a champion. Alright. We were able to break his engagement, get some distance, and now we're coming back around on him. Yeah, it is that thing. But we got him. Yeah, oh, a VB-10 Charlie. Yeah. It's got like 2 engines, one in front of the pilot, one in the rear of the pilot, and then it turns 2 props on the same axes, counter-rotational to one another. Very stable gun platform. It's got 4 20mm cannons. Real big and heavy and slow. I was actually surprised that he was able to turn with us so well. It was quite shocking. Once I figured out what he was. We were able to get him. Probably a dangerous guy to go head on with, but this is a dangerous airplane to go head on with too. This thing's got teeth on it. This FW. I'm hearing engines, but I'm not seeing engines. That is concerning. Who just flew near me? Let's clear left. Left side clear, let's clear right. Right side clear. Somebody just flew near me. Spooky. Yeah, I get it. You're talking about the early MiGs, and I was just pointing out that that's like, for some reason, here we go. As soon as the jet aircraft begin, like the ME-262 is about the only jet aircraft that I can appreciate. And as soon as you get into the Korean War stuff, I don't like it. It's like maybe another P-40. Oh shit. Good turn. Well done, sir. But I'm coming back. I don't know if you did that on purpose, but if you did, that was well executed. Excellent situational awareness. Here we go. Now, I think I got you. Golly, man. This guy is just turning all over me. I cannot get him in my damn crosshairs. Oh, don't stall. Don't stall. Come on. Pull out of that. Pull out of that. Pull out of that. Pull out of that. Alright. Whew. Reset. Where's he at? There he goes. Man, that guy was just making all the right moves. Really? Nothing? Crazy. Got a hit. Golly, he's flying like a friggin' maniac. But I think that's... yeah, alright. Guess I caught up with him eventually. Time to take some of this experience home. Oh, shit! Oh man, my elevator's gone. Alright, well hey, now I get to bring in the U-12. Whoa, hold on, what time is it? Shit, it is 2 o'clock in the morning. Okay. Ah, you fuck it, I'm committed. Alright. I'm committed, I'm not getting much sleep. That's fine. Now this thing, 4 20mm cannons slung under the wing. 2 more in the airframe itself. And then 7.92mm machine guns. This thing is a buzzsaw. And I just earned enough points to bring it in. So I would like to fly it. At least one quick iteration. And then when this aircraft dies, it'll be time for bed. This plane. This is like probably my second best bomber interceptor. The best being the P-61 being my best bomber interceptor. If you haven't flown a P-61 and intercepted a bomber objective, go get yourself a P-61 and intercept a bomber objective. There we go. Oh man, they both just collided. Let's pitch up. Resume climb. He'll be back. That guy knows what he's doing. There's about a 66% chance he'll spawn up here. Yeah, man, that guy was, it looked intentional to me. It looked like he was intentionally throwing that aircraft into a couple of those stalls and was recovering like that. So I think he knew what he was doing. But, and he bled all my energy. I mean, if that's what he was trying to do, then he did it until his teammates came on my 6 there. So, mission accomplished for him. And I botched a lot of those shots. Still learning, I still get a little twitchy sometimes. You just gotta be smooth and methodical. Way off the distance. The 1 o'clock there. Down to the southeast. For some reason I was looking at the clock and I was thinking I had to go to bed at 4 o'clock in the morning, but I should have been in bed an hour ago. But like I said, at this point I'm already kind of screwed, so might as well use my spawn points and fly one more life. This is the scary part about Sim. There's no big red arrows pointing you towards where the enemy is. They could very easily be right behind you and you never know it until your engine cowling fills with flames. And that's what I love about it. This is like one of the few games that still just scares the shit out of me. You know, like you play Battlefield or Call of Duty or something like that, you know, you might get surprised. You know, you might go around the corner and not expect somebody to be there, and you might flinch. You're not scared, you know. You're not like, it's just not the same reaction. Like here, I get like legit scared of people. I feel small. I feel exposed, and my heart pounds, my adrenaline pumps, my hands sweat. And every time those bullets start striking my airplane and I didn't see it coming, I jump. I jump right out of my seat. Not a lot of games do that to me. This is an emotional roller coaster, man. Oh, hey, what's up with you? You look German. You look very German. You look very BF-109-ish. That right there, that's an XP-51, I think? Or XP-50, something like that. Anyway, it's not on my team, that's for sure.
Need backup. Roger that.
XP-55, I'm sorry. It's like an old pusher forward swept jobby. Very interesting. Let's see here. The French plane that was on your 6 that you outmaneuvered and shot down on in one burst was awesome. That has to be a rewarding feeling. Oh yeah, man. And that's the thing, is like you get shot down in sim 10 times, you know, and then that one time you get your guns on target, you know, and you pull the right deflection shot and you lead your target, and those rounds connect, and you know, and you only fired 13 bullets out of your aircraft, and you just watch all 13 of them collide with a, you know, with a maneuvering target, and you just see his, you know, his airframe split apart into multiple fragments and burst into flames, and you're just like, fuck yeah! It's a very, very rewarding feeling. Because it's just, I mean, so much more difficult, you know. I could get 20 kills in an arcade match, and I'm not even, you know, it's just not the same, I guess. Now, I'll be excited. I mean, of course, like, 20 kills is awesome. Like, I go in tank arcades and, you know, I'll be like, yeah, I'm on a fucking rampage. I've killed 10 people, you know, but it's not amazing. You know, it's not as exhilarating. But here, you know, when somebody jumps on you and you reverse on them and you maneuver on them and you energy fight them and you gain the upper hand and then you pull closed on them and then you put accurate fire into their aircraft and turn the table, and you all you do is get one kill, but that one kill is worth so much more to you. And luckily, the game has started to recognize that and has started to reward a ton more points. Like this game that I'm on right now, you know, not a very high performance game. I got 3 deaths, 8 kills, 2 AI kills. It's not overly impressive, but I'm gonna get a metric fuck ton of points for this game. I mean, it's gonna unlock a ton of research. I'm gonna, you know, get a ton of advancement. So every little thing you do in sim is extremely rewarding, both personally and as far as experience goes. My fiance, she actually flies sim with me. I've been teaching her how to fly like bombers and whatnot. And we took off, I taught her how to fly, and she took off in one of her bombers, and I taught her how to bomb. And she flew to the factory objective, this thing, right here. All it is just a static factory with a bunch of warehouses. And it randomly appears, like if you destroy that one, it'll just appear somewhere else. And you can keep destroying it over and over again throughout the whole match. And it's just an objective, like here's the objective right here. Destroy the enemy base in Charlie 2. This is the enemy base in Charlie 2 that they're talking to. She killed it twice. She took off twice, went over to the factory, dropped her payload, destroyed the factory, got shot down, didn't make it back to the airfield either time for the double experience, and she completely spaded out that bomber, researched every module that bomber had, and unlocked 3 aircraft, fully researched 3 aircraft for that country in just that, you know, just the 25 minutes that it took her to bomb those 2 factories. So, sim can be very, very rewarding, very, very worth your time. But it is a time investment, and it can be very frustrating when you fly around for 20 minutes and you don't see anybody, and then all of a sudden just one bullet, you know, absolutely obliterates your plane, and that's why I'm paranoid. When I fly around for 20 minutes and I'm just like, you know, you start getting that feeling that you're being hunted, that you're being stalked, that they're waiting for you to make a specific turn. And when I hear the sounds of an enemy's engine, or when I hear the sounds of an engine, because I can't always tell if it's enemy or friendly, but if I hear an engine and I don't see it, man, it makes me worry. Oh, Charlie 3. Alright, here we go. We got a bomber objective. Now I can display this aircraft's true power. And as I say that, of course, this is probably not going to go well. There we go. There they are. Luckily, this is like one of the first FW190s that comes with an IFR-capable package suite. It's actually got the artificial horizon down there, so you can fly it with obscuration. A lot of the other FW190s, it's very easy to get vertigo when you start flying in conditions like this.
Heading to the base.
Alright, so that's the bomber objective. You got 2 cells of 3 bombers in each cell at the bottom. And then about 1,000 feet on top, you got 2 fighters escorting them. So that's our 6 dots right there, and the 2 dots on top. That 9th dot right there, I don't know what that is. That's not part of it. We're breaking through the clouds at 7,800. Actually, it looks like we just ran out of the lateral confines of it. Putting the clouds behind us now. Oh, I mean, bombing, fighting, attacking, whatever. Everything in sim is rewarding. I do think bombing is the way to go if you're learning sim, because the gunners will look out for you. You know, they'll help watch your back, and it's a lot easier to farm points. But a lot of people, they make the mistake of joining sim without a lot of flying experience, and they try to hop into a fighter plane, and then they go up against people that have been doing it for a while, and, you know, there's a really, really, really sharp learning curve with dogfighting, and the learning curve is much less intense when it comes to just bombing a non-moving factory that's not actively dodging you or fighting back. So I always recommend for people to jump in bombers just to get a feel for, you know, taking off and landing. Like, flying bombers is normally a lot easier because you got multi-engine, so you're not dealing with as much torque. It's much smoother. Like I said, the gunners are on there, so if somebody gets on your 6, you'll hear them start shooting, so that you at least got kind of like an early detection system, and they'll help defend you when people are on your 6. You know, if you're in a fighter and you don't know what you're doing and somebody gets on your 6, it's a death sentence. But, you know, that's the glory. Everybody wants to fly the fighters, but I think everybody should start off in bombers just to get familiar. Oh, wow, come on now. Give me one. There we go. Yeah, we did some pretty good damage to that fleet. That guy down there, he needs some bullets. That dude's still kind of healthy. Oh, my ally just got him. Nice. So anyway, that's the reckless as fuck way to shoot down bombers. Hey. Hey. That's a surprise. Wasn't expecting to see you up here. Let's see if we can pull a lead on him. Wow, lucky duck. We need to bring this thing home. We need an RTB and land. And shut down. Take this experience home. Oh, hey, we got action. What's going on down here beneath the clouds, eh? Picking on one of my bombers? Sure looks like it. Looks like you're picking on one of my bombers. We're gonna end up landing in a field. See that. Cool. Cool. Alright. You didn't see my rounds miss underneath them. Give me a little bit of extra time. Yeah, we're not going to make it back to the airfield. Oil's empty. So let's just... Yeah, that looks like a good spot. Gonna go right slip, full right rudder. Land on the right side of that tree line there. It looks flat enough. Go ahead and start letting this slip out. Plane's humping the ground. All right. That is it. It's been a pleasure talking with you, man. It's nice to have you back. It's been a while. We'll have to play some naval. I'll teach you about this. You teach me about naval action again. Get me spun back up when that game comes out. But dude, absolutely, man. Send me a friend request, Wingling Dragon. Get this game downloaded again, and we'll get you on the Discord, and I'd love to fly with you. Here comes the experience from the previous games that we were playing. The sim experience always comes in super delayed because the matches last for 3 hours. So you have to wait for the game to finish to find out if you won or lost before they actually reward you. So tomorrow I'll get just a crap ton of experience. But for now I just have to be patient. Now I gotta load up my tanks to let them repair because that Panther D still has 2 hours and 34 minutes to repair for free, so it'll be repaired tomorrow by the time I get to work so I can play it there. My Dart class has 3 hours left to repair. It's the best way to make money, man. People say this game is pay to win because you have to. Well, it is kind of pay to win because you can like pay a bunch of money and buy all the best planes, go right to the top and not and max out all your crews. But some people say you have to have a subscription account in order to play this game and remain profitable. You don't. And we'll go over that if you get into it. Anyway, appreciate all you guys watching. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave it on the comments, YouTube video, I don't know. Get it to me somehow. Get me in chat next time. If you liked something you saw, let me know. If you didn't like something you saw, let me know. I'm open to criticism, and I'm here to learn just as much as you guys are. So I don't pretend to know everything, and I've got a lot of learning left to do. So if you saw me do something wrong, and you think you got a better way to do it, let me know. I'll heed your advice. Anyway, appreciate you guys watching, and hopefully we'll see you again.